welcome. You're watching the News Hour Agenda. I'm Padmaja Joshi. Sometimes in the middle of an unfolding tragedy, some images emerge that just make time stand still. And over the last 48 hours, we have seen these images of the Guru Granth Sahib Swaroop being carried out of a besieged Afghanistan into India, where it was respectfully received by union ministers, carried literally on their head, and then installed at the Guru Arjan Dev Gurdwara. Why? Because this Gurdwara in Delhi has a historical connect with those Sikhs who fled Afghanistan. These were images that symbolized what India really stands for, the culture of syncretism. These powerful images of Operation Devi Shakti. But if you really want to understand the import of what happened, hear it from the people who escaped with their life and faith intact on an Indian Air Force plane onto Indian soil.
शुक्रिया अदा करें मोदी सरकार का, भारत का, शहबल सिंह का और सरसा जी का, और सबका धन्यवाद करें कि जो सेवा की इन्होंने, बहुत बहुत सबका धन्यवाद।
अच्छा सर, यहाँ पे पिछले साल एक बिल पास हुआ था सीएए का, जिसमें जो अफगान के रेफ्यूजी हैं उनको देश का नागरिक बनाया जा सकता है, जो कि दूसरी माइनॉरिटीज है जिन पे जुल्म हो रहे हैं वहाँ पे। आप ऐसे कानून, ऐसे बिल का स्वागत करते हैं आप लोग, जो लोग आए हैं?
हाँ जी, बिल्कुल
आपकी मदद।
हाँ जी, बिल्कुल मदद करें, बहुत स्वागत करें।
ऐसे बिल, ऐसे कानून आने चाहिए।
हाँ जी, बिल्कुल आना चाहिए।
कोई भी ऐसा आपको नहीं लग रहा कि भारत ने किसी भी प्रकार का भेदभाव किया है या कुछ किया है?
नहीं,
अफगान को खुले दिल से एक्सेप्ट।
बिल्कुल खुले दिल से।
ज़्यादा मुश्किल था, फिर गवर्नमेंट ने मदद की है, सबको निकाला गवर्नमेंट ने।
सुरक्षित पहुंच के हम बहुत धन्यवाद करते हैं मोदी जी का, एम्बेसी ऑफ इंडिया का, आर्मी ऑफ इंडिया का, जिसने हमारे साथ बहुत मदद किया, उधर से इधर तक पहुंचाया है। और बस दुख इस बात का है कि उधर हमारी संगत फंसी हुई है।
But the reason why these pictures are also important is because this one picture alone sends out a powerful message to those who said that the CAA to bring in persecuted minorities from our neighboring countries is unnecessary. To those who said that secularism is dead in India. To those who, when action was taken against rioters hiding behind farmers, said that the government of India is against Sikhs. And it also answers those who tell us that India has ceased to be pluralistic and is now a fascist, Hindu supremacist, anti-democratic dictatorship. This is not just Operation Devi Shakti, but an operation that shows the Shakti, the power of India's values and civilizational ethos.
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Joining us on the show, we have Nupur Sharma, national spokesperson of the BJP, leader of the Congress, Qamar Zaman Chaudhary, political analyst, Tausif Ahmed. But my first guest, who I want to go across to, is Anarkali Kaur. She's a former member of parliament from Afghanistan. She's a Sikh, and now she's in India. Anarkali ji, आज जब गुरु ग्रंथ साहिब भारत लाए गए, तो बहुत सारे लोगों के यहाँ पे इमोशनल रिएक्शंस थे, खास तौर पर जो सिख संगत के हैं। आपने जब वो तस्वीर देखी गुरु ग्रंथ साहिब को काबुल से दिल्ली लाने की, तो आपके दिमाग में क्या चल रहा था?
बिल्कुल एक तस्वीर, एक वीडियो, एक फ्लाइट, लेकिन 1000 दर्द।
आप दर्द की बात कर रही हैं, क्यों दर्द, क्यों आपको महसूस हुआ गुरु ग्रंथ साहिब की एक तस्वीर देख करके? क्या उससे आपको याद आया कि इतने दिनों में आपने क्या झेला?
बिल्कुल, बहुत दर्द, सबको बहुत दर्द मिला, लेकिन अब यही उम्मीद है कि एक ही दिन आएगी अफ़गानिस्तान में जो सिचुएशन ठीक हो कि हम गुरु ग्रंथ साहिब महाराज के साथ वापस जाएंगे। हमारी ये उम्मीद है, ये अरदास है। लेकिन ये तस्वीर जो हमने देखा, हमें हज़ार दर्द हमने महसूस की।
क्यों?
शायद वो एक तस्वीर है, लेकिन वो तस्वीर के दर्द बहुत ज़्यादा है।
अब आप आखिरकार आप भी गुरु ग्रंथ साहिब भी इंडिया ले आए गए हैं। इंडिया के लोगों को, सरकार को आप क्या कहेंगे? क्योंकि आज आपके सामने दो एग्जाम्पल्स है, एक अफगानिस्तान को जिसको आपको छोड़ के आना पड़ा, और एक इंडिया का जहां आप अभी हैं। दोनों में क्या डिफरेंस देखते हैं?
इंडियन लोगों से वो प्यार जो हमें इंडियन लोगों से मिलता है, सबको शुक्रिया करती हूँ। ये कहती हूँ इंडियन लोगों के कि मैं जब इंडियन को हर जगह पे देखा, मैं तो इंडिया बहुत आ चुकी हूँ, और ये कुछ जो मैं इंडियन के देख रही हूँ या देखती थी, इंडियन लोग अपने देश से बहुत प्यार करते हैं। मेरे लिए एक मिसाल है। मैं कितने साल पहले, जो अफ़गानिस्तान में ये बात बहुत चल रहे हैं, जब किसको पूछते हो कि आपका नाम क्या है, फिर वो कहता है मेरा नाम ये है, मैं ये काम का हूँ, ये मज़हब का हूँ, ये प्रोविंस का हूँ, ये लैंग्वेज से बात करता हूँ। वहाँ पे भी डिफरेंट लैंग्वेज है। पश्तो और दरी वहाँ के नेशनल लैंग्वेज है, ऑफिशियल लैंग्वेज है। ये सब पूछते। मैं जब इंडिया में आई, कपड़े ख़रीदती, वहाँ पे मैं उस बंदे को पूछा कि आप मुस्लिम हो या हिंदू। वो यही हम पर देख का कहा कि हम इंडियन है। हमें ये पता चला कि आज इंडिया कुछ भी है, वो लोगों के प्यार है इंडियन से, और इंडियन को सब इंडियन है। शायद वो बंदा मुस्लिम थे, शायद हिंदू थे, हमें पता नहीं, शायद सिख थे, शायद क्रिश्चियन थे, लेकिन उसने कहा कि हम इंडियन है। वो अभी तक मैं वो बात पर सोचती हूँ कि हमारे जो मेन प्रॉब्लम्स जो अफ़गानिस्तान में थे यही थे कि हम सबको पूछते हैं आपका नाम क्या है। वो जल्दी कहता है कि मेरा नाम ये है, मेरा मज़हब ये है, मेरा काम ये है, मैं ये लैंग्वेज से बात करती हूँ। हमने वतन दोस्ती, देश दोस्ती इंडियन से सीखा, इंडियन लोगों से सीखा। और मेरी ख्वाहिश इंडियन लोगों से यही है कि हमेशा अपने देश से प्यार करो। कोई दुश्मन को इजाज़त मत दियो कि जो आज इंडिया है वो ख़राब हो जाए। आज इंडिया दुनिया में बेहतरीन कंट्री है, वो कंट्री जो यहाँ पे ठीक से डेमोक्रेसी है।
Well, at least distance perhaps gives you that perspective, the respect for democracy that actually exists in our country. आखिर मैं आपसे सवाल ये पूछना चाहती हूँ क्योंकि कई बार ऐसा होता है, मे बी बिकॉज ऑफ डोमेस्टिक पॉलिटिक्स या जो भी रीज़न है, इंडिया में जब हम बात करते हैं तो कई लोग ये कहते हैं कि जो अल्पसंख्यक हैं, माइनॉरिटीज़ हैं, सिख्स हैं, मुस्लिम्स हैं, उनका यहाँ पर रिस्पेक्ट नहीं है, उनको स्पेस नहीं मिलता या उनको परसिक्यूट किया जाता है। आप उन लोगों को क्या कहेंगे?
ये लोगों को मैं बोलती हूँ कि हम पहला इंसान है। इंसान से बात हम मज़हब पर, काम पर, काम हमारे मज़हब हमारे होते हैं, लेकिन पहले तो इंसान है। मेरी नज़र से इंसान से बात हमारे देश बहुत इम्पॉर्टेंट है। मज़हब, काम हमारे बहुत प्राइवेट बात है, लेकिन देश की बात हमारे सब की बात है। इसलिए मैं सबको ये कहती हूँ कि अगर चाहते हो कि अफ़गानिस्तान के हालात को देख रहे हो, उनके तो आप समझते हो कि ठीक ये है कि हम सब अपने देश से प्यार करें और देश के लिए काम करें, ना ये कि ये बताए कौन सिख है, कौन हिंदू है, कौन मुस्लिम है। यहाँ पे तो सब इंडियन है, और इंडियन से बात यहाँ पे सबको, गुरुद्वारे है, मस्जिद है, मंदिर से, और सब कर सकते हैं कि अपने मज़हब में रहे, अपने काम में रहे, लेकिन देश की बात तो बिल्कुल अलग बात है। देश से प्यार करो, देश को कभी भी मत छोड़ो कि बर्बाद हो जाए। हमारे देश बर्बादी के वो समय हम देख रहे हैं, और हम कभी भी नहीं चाहते कोई देश हमारे देश से सेम हो।
Wise words indeed, Anarkali Kaur. You are our guest in India. You're welcome, and thank you very much for having given that very, very important message to everyone listening. Thank you. Let me take that across, in fact, to the guests on News Hour Agenda. Qamar Zaman Chaudhary, for people who say every day in India that democracy is dead, secularism has ceased to exist, perhaps a view from outside, from a country where actually democracy is dead, should be valuable.
Padmaja, you have heard of the two words Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. The world is one family. And India for ages has been home to these persecuted classes wherever they are. But what I see now in your show or in other shows that is going across multiple channels, advocacy for the Citizenship Amendment Act for persecuted minorities from these countries to be brought into India and settled into India. Now, let me just make my point very clear at the first instance. We oppose CAA and will remain opposed to it till the last drop of my blood. 1 point. Second point, people in Afghanistan who seem to be persecuted, they number in 2,000. In Afghanistan, it is just 2,000 Hindus and Sikhs. In Pakistan, they are 44 lakhs, and in Bangladesh, it is around 1.5 crores. So, by advocating, bringing in advocacy and inviting these people. Now, tell me one thing, God forbid some same situation happens in Bangladesh. Are we as a nation ready to take in 1.5 crore Bangladeshi Hindus and other religions into India? No, we don't have that scope. Second point that I want to make out here, the two states that are going to be affected the most are the northeastern states and West Bengal. Now, may I ask you and may I ask your panel whether they are ready to accept a referendum on this, from the citizens of these two states, whether they are going to accept the 1.5 crore Bangladeshi Hindus, Sikhs, and other minorities into India? No, they are not.
So,
going
Mr.
to
Chaudhary,
accept.
Nupur
Yes.
Sharma will answer you, but before that, let me just remind you that to say that I will fight till the last drop of my blood, for you is TV rhetoric. For people like Anarkali Kaur, it is literal. She will possibly have to pay for it with the last drop of her blood, which is why she has run away. Nupur Sharma, don't use altruism to advocate for CAA.
Good evening. Good evening, Padmaja, to you, to co-panelists, and also to all your viewers. You know, facts usually speak much louder and more vociferously than plain rhetoric. ये सिर्फ चुनावी जुमला है जो यहाँ पे आपके पैनल पे अभी कांग्रेस के प्रवक्ता ने दिया है. If he wants to fight till the last drop of his blood, I want to see the fight where he fights till the last drop of his blood against former Chief Minister of Rajasthan, Mr. Gehlot, who in 2009, when the Congress government was in power, repeatedly wrote to that time Home Minister of the Congress-led UPA government to give citizenship in this country to persecuted minorities, meaning Hindus, Sikhs, and what have you, of our neighborhood countries. Point number 2, CAA particularly applies to 3 countries in our neighborhood, which are largely run on religious principles. So it's a bit stupid to sit here and compare the circumstances of persecuted minorities run on religious principles with countries which are not run on religious principles in toto. I mean, I'm sorry, common sense usually is not common in everybody, more so in people who don't even as much as make an attempt to do a cursory search or read up what the law actually said. And the rules, as far as my information goes, are going to be out by January 2022, as the MOS Home has informed the Parliament just a few weeks ago. Point number 3, you know, this is a bit rich. Dr. Manmohan Singh also on that very floor of the Parliament mooted for such a law, such rules which actually grant citizenship to persecuted minorities. For that matter, I think it is amenable for all of us to understand that in a country which largely calls itself an Islamic Republic of so-and-so, a country currently which is going down because Sharia seems to be the imminent future of that country, Another country where there are multiple stories lit large of Hindus or other religious minorities being killed just because of their religion. I think it is, when you say Vasudev Kutumbakam, we only should not be guests. We should be a little more humane. We should be a little more humane and give them their right.
No, Nupurji, just you tell me one thing. Are we ready to take in persecuted minorities from the neighboring countries, or India should interfere as it did during Indira Gandhi's rule when Pakistani army committed atrocities on the people of Bangladesh? It was the Hindus also, it was the Muslims also. We entered Bangladesh, we broke down Pakistan so that the minorities live in peace in Bangladesh.
So let me just answer, let me just ask you this very bluntly, Mr. Chaudhary. You are basically saying, irrespective of who is persecuted or not, keep them in their country. So to everyone, to the 600 odd Afghans who have arrived in our country, you are saying, go away.
No,
die.
Don't compare the Afghanistan issue and
I am asking you very specifically about Afghanistan.
Yes, I am telling you.
For people who have faced persecution and are today in India and saying, thank you for saving us, you are saying, none of our problem, get lost.
No, Padmaja, you are mixing two different things.
Sir, I am not the one mixing. You are the one who is mixing two issues. I am asking you very specifically. I am asking you very specifically that we had been told in the last 6 years. I don't want to go around in circles. I have a very simple question to ask. In the last 6 years, on multiple occasions, Tausif Ahmed, and if you like, I will quote you the occasions, we have been told that India is now Hindu supremacist. There is no place for minorities, and it's essentially a fascist state. What we have seen in the last 10 days, would you say is a symbol of fascism? Where people, irrespective of their religion, when persecuted or facing harassment, are being brought to India from Afghanistan. Mr. Tausif.
I think this entire debate about CA at this point and in connection with the Afghanistan crisis is totally a waste of time.
Sir, exactly. So you leave CA. I'm just asking you, do you think that India has proven to be a titan among countries where it has risen to the occasion, where a fundamentalist organization has taken over Afghanistan and we have helped out people irrespective of their religion? This is the mark of a mature secular civilization. Leave CA.
Till 14th August, Afghanistan was under American rule. Now Afghanistan is being handed over by American current regime to the Taliban. This which has caused the crisis.
Sir, why are you giving me lessons in history when I read the newspapers? I am asking you a simple question, that when a country steps up and says that we will help you out because you face persecution,
Padmaja,
does it reek of fascism?
If you are asking questions, you must have the patience to listen to the answers. No, Padmaja, you are asking questions, you should also have patience to listen to the answers. Now, we are talking about CAA. This very CAA has been...
I thought you said you thought CAA discussion was a waste of time. Come to the question that I'm asking you. My question is not about the CAA. Why do you keep going back to that? Leave CAA. I'm asking you, has India proven its secular credentials in the truest way possible?
Since two panelists before me discussed about CAA, I will also give my input. And
after calling it facile, but go on.
States like West Bengal, Kerala, Punjab and so on and so forth have passed resolutions. Democratically elected state assemblies have passed resolutions against CAA. CAA is not in effect right now in India, so we are not going to discuss about it. CAA does not prevent or neither it allows any special permission for Afghan people to come to India. They can come to India as they are coming right now.
Sir, what is your point? Can you come to the point? You're rambling.
CAA does not prevent or give any special status which allows people under the current crisis in Afghanistan to come to India. The current crisis in Afghanistan does not arise out of any religious persecution, but because of the change of the government, but because of the exit of American,
Mr. Tausif, if you think that people are fleeing from their Gurdwara not because of religious persecution, but because, there has been a change in government. It's interesting that you choose to call the Taliban a government, despite the fact that they have pretty much effected a coup. You're saying the Taliban is a change in government, so people have fled. There is no effort of religious persecution. Nupur Sharma. So the discussion on CA is facile.
With the neighboring countries when it comes to humanitarian aid.
There are 2-3 things I want to say.
Afghanistan coming to our country.
There are 2-3 things I want to say. For the first gentleman from the Congress party, I am going to assume that he says that the remaining 71 sects who are persecuted Islamic minorities of Pakistan, well, they deserve this fate and they are meeting it. And similarly, I will extend by that very logic to assume that he means to say, no, allow me, that's what you said. That's what you said. I will also assume that he meant, allow me, Padmaja, otherwise he needs to differentiate. Padmaja, otherwise he needs to differentiate.
Let her finish her point, then you can respond.
Padmaja, I'm losing my voice. I'm losing my voice. I don't want a heckler who is just imagining things and made a point. Then also let me extend my logic as to what I've understood you to say. Then by that very yardstick, I would also say that the Uyghur Muslims, the persecuted Islamic minorities who are not even as much as allowed to fast during Ramadan in China, are also meeting their met fate because this is what they deserve. For that matter, I did not understand your point as to why India should be mingling into affairs of, of our neighborhood countries. Point number 2, the current Modi dispensation, the current government at center, Padmaja, is certainly not one which is going to give up 93,000 POWs, prisoners of war, while not even worrying about our missing 54. This country currently under the ruling government is extremely careful. Priority number 1 is for the safe, secure return of our Indian brethren. So much so that our Honorable Prime Minister during the CCS meeting said, not only should we assure and ensure the safe, secure return of our Indians, of those NRIs who are living in Afghanistan currently, we will also assure all those Afghanistanis, Afghan brethren who are actually concerned about their livelihood, given your procedural issues like checking their background, their immigration status and so on and so forth, even they should be safe. So I'm sorry to say this is not the case where we don't even care about our own people. And by your very logic, I would assume, as the country has assumed, that you think that the remaining 71 sects of Pakistan and the Uyghur Muslim population of China is actually living the fate that they deserve.
And just let me also remind everyone who claims that people are not fleeing persecution. The UN Human Rights Chief has said 8 minutes ago she has credible reports of executions being carried out by the Taliban, and especially women. The status of women is a glaring red line. Perhaps not persecution in your dictionary, Mr. Tausif. Yes, go on. Mr. Chaudhary, respond.
Yeah, listen, one thing, what Nupur is saying, she's basically mixing up the entire this thing. If she is in support of the CA, I asked a simple question, are we as Indians ready to take in the persecuted minorities, as you say, 1.5 crores from Bangladesh, 44 lakhs from Pakistan. There is a minuscule minority of 2,000 people in Afghanistan who practice Sikh religion and Hindu religion. We welcome them and we can absorb them. This is changing the demography of the border states of Eastern India, and we can never accept that. Rather, we will be, as the largest democracy of the world, try to engage the government in that country and ensure the security of the minorities in that country. Not that we begin the world is a one family Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam and say that anybody and everybody can come into India because you are a persecuted minority in your country.
Okay, I'm not asking that. It sounds good rhetoric, but not feasible in the long term. You can apply it for good optics to Afghanistan, Nupur Sharma, but eventually not to Bangladesh and other neighboring countries.
You know, it usually serves a lot of purpose for a lot of such ignorant people to read what the CA actually said. the CAA had a cut-off date, required earlier 11, then 5 or 6 years residence as per the current CAA. The rules are yet to be made. But what is laughable is that the issue is religious persecution. It is not necessary that everybody is religiously persecuted, but here the gentleman has assumed that everybody, every minority there is persecuted.
Come on,
Point number 2, CA only applies if you as much as seek citizenship. I'm sorry, sir. I'm not naive. Your knowledge of law is zero. I'm not naive. Your knowledge of law is zero. Padmaja, why is he heckling me? Because he's not read the CA? Is that why he's heckling me? Padmaja, why is the gentleman heckling me? Because he's not read the CEA. He does not know that the current existing status is 31st December 2014. What is your problem? Go read up the law. Don't heckle me. Don't become a professional heckler on national television debate. But what is more laughable right now is this, that these very people who as much as passed a, joined hands and passed a resolution against CEA early last year, are today saying cut-off date बढ़ा दो. These very people, and I can name 3 tall leaders, Mr. Gehlot, Dr. Manmohan Singh, Mr. Gogoi, are fierce proponents of the CEA, of giving citizenship to persecuted minorities.
At the very least, for reasons of humanity, people are now acknowledging the need for a law that gives citizenship to persecuted minorities in our neighborhood. The simple point, though, is that in our politics, please do not forget the basic civilizational values that this country stands for, which in the time of crisis, it holds up consistently, irrespective of who's in government. Let's respect that and value that. Listen to what people who've escaped from Afghanistan are telling us. Thanks very much, both gentlemen, Nupur Sharma, for having joined me.